the webinar. Okay, we've got everyone coming along now. So we've got Varshini with us, and so as he's going to be talking to us about AI, a very interesting topic. I think everyone wants to know. It's moving so quickly. We're not talking about just Chat GPT, but we're talking about other stuff as well. So things are moving. So welcome everyone. We've got Leonard over
Yeah.
there. We've got Mariam. We've got David, we've got Debbie, and we've got another person called Ranji, I think, just entering. So, and Krish, some new people coming in, good, which is good. So welcome everyone, welcome to the BEwell. This is the BEwell space, a space for coaches, entrepreneurs, and individuals. We want to inspire, inspire and aspire to higher things. So that's what we're coming together for. I bring people together to actually listen to our experts, and today we have an expert in artificial intelligence, or someone who's studying. And because there are no experts, because it's ever changing and it's changing every day. So today,
Yeah.
Om is an expert today, but maybe tomorrow he's a beginner. So let's just say today he's an expert and he's here to bring some light. I've got a set of key words that maybe I'll put into the chat, and then maybe you could even,
Okay.
when you have a look at those keywords, and the keywords are around AI, and perhaps if you feel that that would help you, in actually presenting the topic better, you can use those keywords. If not, let's just have an open conversation here on this topic. Okay, so let me just introduce you quickly to Om Varshini. He's an artificial intelligence top voice, consultant, researcher, and a student. His domains of exploration include artificial intelligence, web development, and UI/UX design. He loves to collaborate and learn. He's dedicated to bringing about a positive change in the field of artificial intelligence. On the non-technical side, he's a writer, he's a thinker, and homegrown philosopher. He loves to read complex and layered literature. I don't know what that means, but he'll tell us later, I hope. And he loves
Yeah,
spending
sure.
time in meditation and surrounded by nature. So welcome, Om. Thank you for your time and your expertise. And
Thank
perhaps
you. Thank you for having me.
you can take it away from here.
Okay, so would you like me to go through the slideshow or should we have more like a discussion?
I think a discussion will be better if everyone agrees on that, because that way we can just jump in, and if anyone has any questions, any insights, we can just share that all together, because this is a sharing space. Is that okay with you?
Yeah, that's perfectly fine with me. I am mostly looking to talk about AI tools, so some of the good AI tools that we are using these days, and how we are using AI personally, how we're using AI professionally. And I have some interesting stories of my own of how I have used AI in my ways. And I would like to talk about the current trends in AI, how what we're going with the future. I mean, the future is uncertain. I cannot predict it, but we can at least try that. And finally, I would like to talk very briefly about what we should do about this AI revolution.
Yeah,
So,
I think we are coaches and self-employed, like entrepreneurs, freelance professionals here. So
mhm.
perhaps in that direction, how can AI be used in that kind of context, or how can that help us?
Okay, so when you're talking about self-employed people, so how would you utilize AI? So mostly I would think that as a self-employed person or as a freelancer, I would like to the main use case of AI would be where I want to grow my personal brand. So I want to take a social media and I want to grow my personal brand over there. So that is where AI would really shine for me as a freelancer or as a self-employed person. So I would, so like when I started my LinkedIn journey, approximately It was 6 months or 8 months ago. So I would use AI to summarize a lot of news for me. Then I would read those news, and then finally I would be able to talk about it. Now that eventually helps me grow my network. I can connect with more people, and that is what led me to my recognition as a top voice. Right. So for me, I think as a freelancer, what is most important is growing your personal brand, and you wouldn't have a lot of time for content creation. And so AI can really, really help you there. What do you guys think?
So we're talking about content creation, right? You said
Yes, 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 yes,
content
yes.
creation.
If you're
Um,
going to brand yourself, yes.
yeah, personal branding, content creation.
Right.
I've put a list of keywords in the chat. So if you want to open it up and have a look at it, and they're the words that are in the context of AI today. And
Hmm.
so, as you can see, there is machine learning, deep learning. Oh, there's so much there. So I don't know how much of
Yeah,
that.
let me open that. Yeah.
Can you see that? Can everyone open that?
Yeah.
Yes, 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 yes. I have opened it.
I don't know if you wanted to, can you throw some light on some of these words to us? What does this all mean? Or what does some of this stuff mean here?
Okay, yeah. So I can definitely help with that. So when I say AI, when you hear the word AI, it is a very generic term. So any computer program that mimics human intelligence is called AI. So it could be a really simple program from, let's say, a very simple program that plays tic-tac-toe. So that is also AI. And a very complex program like ChatGPT, that is also AI. Then I see the word ML, so machine learning. What is machine learning? Machine learning is a subset of AI. So AI is a broad term, and machine learning is a subset. In machine learning, what we're doing is we're defining mathematical algorithms that take data and give us predictions. So the core focus of machine learning is to take data and make predictions. We are very, very concerned about predictions. When we talk about deep learning, it is a subset again of AI. And in here, what we do is we don't make algorithms. We take the data, we put it inside an AI system, and that's like the magic happens where the AI itself figures out the algorithm and then predicts the results. So that is the core difference between ML and AI.
Yeah, give us an example of about predictions. Can you?
Okay, so uh, let's say I want to predict your eligibility for a home loan. So I could have predictor way. I could take some information about you. I could ask, okay, what is your age? What is your current income? What is your credit score? Which area do you live in? I could take in all of that information, and then I could make a system that predicts whether or not you're going to get a loan, and if a yes, how much of a loan can you get. So in order to be able to make such a system, I need to have a lot of data. So first I need to have historical data from banks where I have both the information and the results. So did you get a loan, and if yes, how much? Once I have that, I can train my AI model to detect patterns where it can understand, okay, how much significance does income hold? How much significance does credit score hold? How much significance does area of residence hold? And once it has learned all of that, it is able to take in a completely new data point. So, for example, me, I have never been to a bank. This is my first time. So, it is able to take a completely new data point and make a prediction. So that is where it is extremely useful when we say that AI.
So when we say a prediction, can we say also a prediction for who would buy our product, who would buy our service,
Yes, you could do that sort of thing. Again, see, when we talk about AI, there's this need for data. If
Mm,
if you want to, let's say, predict who will buy my services,
mm,
you could go with something which is not AI, which is simply data analysis. So you say that I am producing products in the mental wellness space, and these are other people who are also producing the same kind of product, and then you could collect demographic data and that kind of thing. So that would come under data analysis. But if you want to go with predictions, then a lot of data is needed. A very specific format of data is needed. So if you, let's say, you sell your products on Amazon, then what Amazon does is when you visit that website, it records a lot of information about you. So it will record things like where you are coming from, which so that includes which country, what gender are you, what time of the day are you visiting the website,
mm.
and what is your previous search history, what is your purchase history, what things are in your cart. And based on all of that, Amazon as a marketplace can predict this person is going to buy or not. But as an individual, it becomes very hard because you don't have that kind of data.
Exactly. We as coaches, I think we're coaches or professional freelancers, we don't have so much information, so much data
Yes,
to put in there.
yes. Exactly. So when you talk about AI, then you that is the prerequisite. If you don't have data, then AI is not going to help at all. Then you actually have to rely on external services like LinkedIn Analytics and that sort of thing in order to
Mm, mm.
in order to make sales or whatever you want. So that's where
Debbie has put something in the chat. Can you read that?
Mhm. A good sales and marketing funnel does have a lot of this already though. Yes. So if you're talking about a sales and marketing funnel, that it has all of that, but it is not exactly AI, but it does work. So for an individual person, yes, that works. But if you're talking about how AI can help you in this particular scenario, then AI will only help you, let's say you want to market something. Then AI can help you generate content for that marketing. AI can help you generate visuals for that marketing campaign or advertisement. But if you're going to ask AI who is going to buy my product or who is going to acknowledge my product or who's going to be interested, then at an individual level, it becomes very difficult. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I just think, I mean, we've made extreme progress in marketing and sales funnels and lead management and lead technology. And I think what AI would do in that case is bring it all together, and so that a human being doesn't have to sit there and make the decisions on what to do with that information, rather that information is consolidated in a smart way, however you tell it to, in an AI bot, for example, or in a program. I mean, I used to write emails and sales emails and marketing emails, and I would know exactly which customer clicked on which link and what were they interested in. And from that, I would send them the next email, and from that, the whole process would go, right? So I
Right,
was doing that 20 years ago already.
right. So that kind of thing, again, if you want to completely automate it, you will, let's say you will have to record what you're doing.
Mm,
So what you feel as very natural that I send an email, I'll look at what links have been opened,
yeah.
and then based on that, I'll give them a recommendation. It feels very natural to you. It does not feel so natural to AI. So AI is like, give me 100 such examples
Mhm.
and give me both positive and negative examples. So give me examples where people clicked and bought that stuff, and also give me examples where people did not buy anything. And once it has looked at hundreds of examples, then it is able to help you out in those predictions. But if you look at the current scenario where we say that we don't have that kind of data, we don't have hundreds of thousands of data samples, then what AI can help you with is you can go to a LLM, which is a large language model. You can go to something like ChatGPT and you can manually describe your user. So I'm talking about this kind of user. And then ChatGPT is able to generate an email for you.
Mm.
So again, it's not completely automated, it's only semi-automated. So you're still there, you're still doing half of the work, but some of the work AI can do with your direction, of course.
So what's happening in the global? I mean, if I talk about my little world here, my business, I have a language school, and we try to automate stuff, and we're trying to use. I'm more advanced than the young people in my office, which is really surprising because I'm the one pushing them to use AI and ChatGPT and other. There's not just ChatGPT. There are other uh, artificial intelligence tools as well,
Yeah.
for learning languages and marketing and video work and editing and so on. There's so much out there. Question to you, Om, is what is the current state of AI in the global market now? How much AI is being used, or are we just at the beginning?
Okay, so if I talk about from a research perspective, then we've come a long way. So we started with very basic systems that were playing very basic games with humans, like tic-tac-toe. We called it AI. So when we talk about that, we've come a long way. But when you say that is AI going to really replace jobs? Is AI really going to take over that human element, that human judgment, that human intelligence? So we are not there yet. We are definitely not there yet. So you still need a lot of human supervision. You still need that decision making to be done by humans. AI is only there to help you do your job. So, like you said, you want to learn a language. AI is better than reading the dictionary or going through the book. AI can help you with that. So, what does Duolingo do? Duolingo has a dedicated AI which analyzes your learning patterns, and then it says, okay, so Gary is likely to learn a language when it's 9:30 p.m. at night. So it sends you a notification. It says, okay, would you like to learn a language? So that is the part where AI is used. But
Mm.
when you open the app, all of the prompts you get, all of the statements, everything, that is human generated. So they have language experts who are going to generate they're going to create each and every sentence that you're going to learn. So they don't use AI over there. So AI is, if you talk about replacing humans, then no, AI is not going to do that. But you can still use AI to make your job slightly faster.
No, because we see some scary scenarios, scenes in films like Her. There's a film called Her with artificial intelligence, and when you see that kind of movie, and you think, well, that's an imaginary something. It's a movie, but it could become a reality. So, how far are we away from that reality?
Okay, I have not watched that movie, but I'm guessing it's some kind of Terminator state where AI is taking over humans and that sort of thing. It's like that.
The film's called Her, Her, Her,
Okay.
and I think it was in 2000. What? It's like about 10 years ago, maybe even. No, it's quite
Okay.
10 years ago when they had this AI robot woman, Her, actually, and so that was 10 years ago. So I just wonder if we are, how far we are, how close we are to this reality.
Okay, so I think I'll try to explain it to you in a different way. As a human, I am, let's say, taking data from my five senses, right? So I have visual data, I have auditory data, I have touch data, I have smell data, I have and I'm tasting stuff. Okay, so that's 5 kinds of data I have. Plus my mind is working. So I am taking a lot of language data, that sort of thing, right? So we are talking about 6 to 7 modalities here, and that is a 5 year, 6 year old human. A 5 to 6 year old human can take in that kind of data, make sense of it. When I talk about AI is largely unimodal, so it understands only one stream of data. So it's like either I understand text data, or I understand image data, or I understand auditory data, but the combination of all kinds of data, which constitutes an experience for me, for you. So for us, an experience is constituted by all those kinds of data, but AI is not able to understand that.
Okay.
So if you imagine a human who cannot see, who cannot feel, who cannot touch, and only has access to words. For example, if you want to explain to that human what a cookie tastes like,
Hmm.
you cannot. You cannot. Right? You can use a lot of words, you can give a lot of descriptions, and it is very sweet and it is round and it is chocolatey and it is all of that. But what does it mean to that person who cannot touch it or feel it or taste it? So that's how it is with AI. We're putting all of that information into AI, and what is happening right now, it's nowhere close to being that Terminator state. Also, what is happening is that we've already trained AI models with like all the text data on the web. So we took literally the whole text data on the web, so terabytes of data. We trained AI models. Now, what is happening is humans are using those AI models to generate content. So that AI generated content is coming up on the web, and when new AI models get trained, they literally get trained on their own generated data. So
So,
that
so, so,
puts a
so
cap on their development.
are we creating new data, or are we just regurgitating or
Yes,
oh,
yes, yes, exactly. That's what, if you look at the math, if you look at the equations, AI, okay, I'll go slightly into the math here. So anything that is written, so let's say I talk about ChatGPT, just ChatGPT. So anything that is written, any prompt, if you call it, is converted into numbers, and those numbers are then converted into part of a distribution, right? AI is taking that distribution and then generating data that matches that particular distribution. So a distribution, you can think of it as a pattern. So it says what is the pattern in this set of words, and then it generates another set of words with a similar pattern. And when you basically train it on terabytes of data, so on all of the web, on a lot of blogs, on a lot of Stack Overflow, on a lot of codes, and all of that stuff, it becomes really good at throwing back at you all that data, right? So why ChatGPT feels like a magical thing to a lot of people is because I don't have access to the whole internet. My brain is not really capable of accessing the whole internet at the same time. So if I ask ChatGPT something, it could be just behaving like a search engine. So it's like a better version of a search engine. But for me, it's a big deal because I didn't know that what ChatGPT just told.
so looking at, we were saying that the question was, now before you gave an example of predictions in a banking system for a loan. So in which field, in which business sector is AI really being used more, let's say?
Okay, so the most AI usage, it's in the social media. Okay, so social media is again an application, but it's called a recommendation system. But AI, the most, let's call it the most profitable. All of the money that people are earning out of AI, is coming out of recommendation systems. So I am on social media. The goal is to keep me there for as long as possible. So AI will decide what content should be shown to me based on what content I have previously seen. And like you could do the same thing. If you look at my search history, you could predict, yes, he is into a lot of machine learning books. So let me give him another machine learning book. He'll probably like it. So you can do that, but you can't do that for millions and billions of users. So
Mm.
when you have to do it at scale, you put in systems, and it's literally mathematics. It's nothing magical over there. A lot of matrices get multiplied, and finally, what you have is a probability. So, over all pieces of content available on social media, what is the probability of me liking a particular content? And when the probability is high, it gets shown to me. So, that's literally what happens. It's a very simple system, but a lot of money is being made out of it.
It just made me think about, I don't know why, Tinder, you know, the dating app, the dating agent, the dating matching. It just made me think about that. You put in all your data, then it just puts it all through, you know, and it comes up with all these matches, and based on what you say. Hopefully,
Yes.
you're saying what you know, you're saying the truth. Let's say, and not just saying anything. David's put in a comment in the chat. Do you want to read that?
US quantum computers at NASA and another facility have been shut down due to advanced AI, exciting what can be, yet scary at the same time, looking 10 years out. Government. Uh, I have no idea about this thing. So,
Uh,
as far as I know about quantum, it is in a very primitive stage and it is not doing anything right now. But I don't have like a lot of idea about this.
correct. There's only a few quantum computers out there, mainly government, like NASA, and I think Elon Musk is familiar with it and has been working with some of that stuff, and also the AIs. And to me, everything I've done, I've always been one of the first in that particular field to do that, because people aren't creative enough to go out and try something different. And AI, from what I've been using, is just, I love it. It's phenomenal what you can do with AI. But you have to, it's all going to get down to who's going to be programming, what are they going to be programming, things like that.
Yeah, I think one of the investments is going to be from the government because they've got the funds, right? So
Yeah.
what are the challenges? What are the challenges, ethical challenges? What are the opportunities for us from AI?
Okay, so as so when we talk about ethical challenges, it comes down to the fact where, let's say I want to train an AI model. Right now I want data. So where should I get that data? Should I take only those things that are publicly available, or should I just wreak havoc on the whole web and steal everything? So should I start stealing copyrighted work, and should I start reading, New York Times articles that are behind the paywall? So that's where the ethics comes in,
True.
because all these companies want a lot of data to train their AI, and data is very costly. Their AI models are hungry for more text, and text is very costly. So what they do, then they do shady things, right? So you go to New York Times and then it says, but you have to subscribe. You go to medium.com and it says you have to subscribe. But that if you look at the code, that subscription modal, that thing that pops up on the screen, you can disable it with JavaScript. So once you disable it, or even better, you can turn on your accessibility settings. You can turn on something like reading mode, and that just removes all those things. And so you get access to all this data, which should have been behind paywalls, and you can train your models on it. So that's where the ethics comes in. That's where a lot of lawsuits come in, where authors are suing companies for training on their books, and all these all these things like New York Times and news websites, they're suing companies for training on their data. So this is a big debate in the field where OpenAI says things like, we did steal data, but it was for the good of humanity. And New York Times says, no, it is not for the good of humanity. So that's where the debate comes in, basically. It's not resolved yet.
Yeah, I saw there was a message that you sent. Silicon Valley is leading the innovation. You said Europe is taking a firm stand on regulation,
Yes, yes,
and,
yes, yes, yes,
and
yes.
Asia is providing the manpower. So let me just say that again. Silicon Valley, innovation, Europe, very firm on regulation, and Asia, manpower. Can you give us a little, throw some light on that, those 3 points there?
Okay, so Silicon Valley is where, okay, so when I want to train a model, okay, now I have a lot of data. I would like to train a model on it. Okay, so what I need is, first of all, a lot of compute power. So I need big computers that are going to run my model, that are going to train my model, so that I can have my own chat GPT or something like that. So all of those compute resources, they're available in Silicon Valley. So all these AI startups, companies, they're available, they're there in Silicon Valley, and they're building big computers to train big AI models. Then when you come to Europe, Europe has put a lot of regulation on AI, because what happens with the harmful effects of AI are, it gets in the hands of children, and then it could say things that it should not say. And so Europe is very strict with that thing. So AI should never say something that is unsafe. Or for example, AI should not tell me how to make a bomb. If I ask AI, how do I make this bomb, or how do I cook, how do I obtain cocaine, or give me Windows activation keys, AI should not tell me all of that, right? So who is going to ensure that AI is not telling me all of that? Or maybe AI has trained on my code on GitHub. So I worked really hard and I put some code on GitHub. Now AI has trained on my code, and it is literally publishing, it's distributing my code without paying me anything to anybody anywhere. So I don't like that. And Europe does not like that. So that's where in Europe there's a lot of regulation on what AI can and cannot do. And it's so bad that if you try to run Gemini, which is the new model in by Google, if you try to run it in that area, it does not run. It just says we are not allowed to run in this whole region, in this whole continent, we're not allowed to run. And when you talk about manpower, and Asia is providing all the manpower, so how is Asia providing manpower? First of all, the physical manufacturing of chips, that happens in countries like China and Korea, that side of the globe, the physical manufacturing. Plus, when you're training large language models, you have to do a lot of alignment. So you have to have humans who sit in front of computers and who select between two AI responses. So ask a question, get the response, get two responses basically, and then select the better of the two. So what OpenAI had to do in order to train their model is have literally hundreds of such people who were just reading responses, selecting responses, reading responses, and selecting responses. So if you do that in the US, you have to pay a, a lot of money, a lot of money. But if you ask somebody in India and you give them $20, oh my God, they're happy. They're so happy with $20. But you can't give that kind of money in US. People
Yeah,
will ask
and
a lot more.
Chennai in India too. The technology, the way people think, it's a technology center in India. It's Chennai, and I've worked with them quite a bit on projects and stuff like that. And the knowledge you get is just really incredible.
Yeah. Was that What was it?
Yes.
What was that point there?
We were talking about, he was talking about looking at things from an ethical standpoint and how different areas of the world can contribute or take away from how the total AI system works to the benefit of people. So, he's looking at the good things, the bad things, and there's a lot of good things. I didn't hear much. I heard on the very tail end about India, but I've worked with people in Chennai, India, and fantastic thinkers, and they're trying
Yes.
to do good.
I was just thinking, Leonard here works with fractional accounting, right? Leonard, is that right?
No, finance. I mean,
Finance.
yeah.
Finance. Finance.
Mhm.
So how is AI in your field?
Without the person involved, AI will never, ever be able to analyze numbers. It's good in text, but it is not functional in doing financial analysis, budgeting, forecasting. It is not built for it. I know that, I mean, I don't know what Am knows, but I know that Wall Street, one of the execs, Jamie Dimon of JP Morgan, is trying to build something that will allow them to analyze the numbers, or at least try to come to some standardization for Wall Street using an AI tool. But the problem I have is that without the human element to do the analysis, AI still can't come up
Yeah.
with,
So
still
let-
can't do with the numbers. And I don't see it as something, as a tool that I would personally use for my job. I only see it as what Am said is about the social media and trying to brand myself. But using it as a tool for my job, no.
So,
Yeah.
so
I don't think it'll ever happen in my lifetime.
Leonard, what is the human element in your job? What is it exactly?
The human element is looking at the numbers and doing the storytelling. I don't need to have a computer do the storytelling. If I want to have it write a book, sure. I mean, but I think that AI is not swift enough at this stage to analyze numbers and trends. It's been proven. It still doesn't work in a way that you need that human element involved. You'll never be able
Yeah,
to get past it.
that's right.
The text part is perfect, like on a social media. But when it comes down to financial analysis, the budgeting, the forecast, when you're crunching numbers or anything of that sort, AI gets tripped up because it's not intuitive enough to come up with a different response at different times. It could recreate the same thing, or like what Gary said earlier, regurgitate, but not do the analysis. So that's why I think it's not smart enough right now, but I think maybe over time they'll come to something. But right now it's not possible.
Well, in engineering, I was one of the first guys using 3D computer-aided design work and modeling and stuff. And I started off with a 2D AutoCAD system, and I was able to use the internal programming called Lisp inside AutoLisp to create a 3D model on a 2D system, create the 2D drawing, and send the 3D model out to the manufacturing facility so it knew how to build, let's say, a tube for your AC tube or any old pipe tube or something for a car. And it would build that tube and come out perfect every time. And that's because of smart programming, that you could do that make a system that's not designed to do it. Later in the 3D aspect of it, I use 3D Pro E and creating models and different things like that. Some of them I've got patents on.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the thing is, it takes about 5 days to design a condenser for your automobile in 3D on a Pro E system. But it's got an internal programming type system too, that for people who want to take the time to do it, you can go there and program it. And I did it so that now all I had to do is I just had to put in the parameters. I had to put in, what the length is, what the height is, what the width is, and what the performance is of the condenser. And I would create one in 30 minutes versus 5 hours. And that was 20 years ago. So, a lot of the stuff that goes with AI depends highly with the people doing the programming.
Yes.
And
So looking at we're looking at like the job industry, like, everyone's worried about the job industry, like with AI coming along, what's going to happen to us? So, what kind of jobs do you see for the future? For if young people are coming into this world and they're looking for jobs now, what should they be looking at? Data analysts? They should be into 3D printing. What should they be looking at?
Okay, so there is a there's a good amount of fear mongering that happens around AI, that it is going to eat up your job or it is going to put you out of business. Uh, it's not going to do that anytime soon. It's not going to eat up any kind of jobs. The
I
only
agree.
jobs that AI is going to eat up are the jobs where you look at one computer, read some data, and type that same data into another computer, in a slightly different format. So yes, AI is going to take that job, but anything which requires the human element, which requires you to look at the data and take a decision, AI is not going to do that. So AI is never going to replace a doctor, because who would go to the AI? Who will take responsibility for something that doesn't work? Or if a person dies, who will take responsibility? Or if a person, if something happens, who takes responsibility? So that's where the AI cannot take over your jobs. As far as the young people are concerned, so even in our college, what kind of jobs do we look at? First of all, we do study AI, but like Leonard was saying, we're also studying data analytics. So if there's a lot of numbers in front of you, you don't throw it at AI. Okay, now you do the thing. That's not how you do it. You look at those numbers and you manually plot graphs, and then you look at those graphs and then you plot more graphs. And you do it until and unless it makes sense, right? So that kind of jobs are there. So that kind of jobs are needed where we're talking about data analytics.
Yeah.
Then if in core AI, again, so there's this new thing that has come up which is called prompt engineering. I mean, I personally don't think it's going to stay for a very long time,
What's it
because
called? Repeat that. What's it
it's
called?
called prompt engineering.
Okay.
So prompt engineer, it's like you are using Chat GPT, but I come when I tell you, no, you're doing it wrong. Now I'm going to talk to Chat GPT for you, right? So you pay me and I'll talk to Chat GPT.
All
And
right.
what I do is I write very long prompts, and then that gives me some kind of output. And I'm like, see, so now you were using, let's say, one line prompts. You're like, give me this, and Chat GPT is not doing it. And then I write a whole paragraph giving it three examples of what should be done. And then I ask the same thing. Then ChatGPT does it. But then I also want to call it a kind of engineering. I mean, I am studying engineering. I don't think that is engineering at all. It's just the kind of stupidity that is happening. But yeah, that is a kind of new job which is coming up in the sector. Otherwise, there are the traditional jobs where it is data analysis, Integration is very important. Cloud knowledge is very important. I can know a lot of AI and not know cloud, and then I'm useless because AI doesn't work like that. You have to understand cloud. When you go into cloud, you have to understand security, that sort of thing. So the knowledge that is needed, even from I am studying AI/ML. My degree is in AI. So I know all the neural networks and I know a lot of predictive algorithms and I know a lot of data analysis techniques. But ultimately, what does the industry need? The industry needs a person who knows the cloud and who can put this all on the cloud. And then, from my phone, I could click a button. It sends a request to the cloud, does all the computation in the cloud, gives me back the result. To do that, you should know data analysis and also know cloud. So I think that's the kind of jobs which are there in this sector.
Debbie, are you using AI in coaching? Because Debbie is a coach, an executive coach. I just wonder where we are with this, auto-generative intelligence. Are we where AI is able to actually interface with a potential client and actually generate the questions to ask the client based on the response, the first question?
We've had that since, I don't know, 2015 already. Not with AI, but there was a program called Youper that I tried out a while ago, Youper. And it's they've updated it in the meantime, and you used to get a lot more for free, but now they've integrated the information they've taken from you and made that into a new program, and now you have to pay for some more. But your question about how is AI impacting coaching, I would like to actually say something else, and I've been looking for it for the life of me. I can't find it. I wish I could. I just read an article today that 7 out of 10 CEOs and CMOs, so C-suite, does not know how to integrate AI into their business. They know how to use it as a chat bot for marketing, for that kind of things, but that's all looking in the retrospective part of things. They don't know how to use it to create new business, make new, retrospectively, they can do the marketing part and they can, generate new business through that way. But something new, create something absolutely new, out of this world new. They don't know how to do that yet. And I've been looking for that article, so I wanted to share it with you because I just happened to see it. I kind of skimmed over it this morning while I was having breakfast. And then I thought, don't worry about it. But now I find it terribly interesting.
Maybe you're looking for the MIT tech reviews
I
on the future of AI.
I don't know. It was just this morning. I mean, it was in Manager Magazine or McKinsey or something like that. I get those newsletters
I
from them.
mean, you're right, because 70% of people will say that we want to integrate AI, but approximately 20% are actually integrating AI.
Yeah. And there you have
Where
it, number. Yeah.
they don't integrate AI. They do say we would like to integrate AI in the next 5 years, but they don't integrate it, right?
Exactly.
So that's right.
I actually want to ask something, because the other thing that I chanced upon and looking at what the world is like today is the role, and another article that I saw actually in a German manager magazine here in Germany. It's called Manager Magazine. I don't know, but anyway, it's about they're using AI in the weapon and defense industry. So war. And there's a professor in one of the universities here. He's working together with I think missiles and ships and airplanes and goodness knows what, with how to integrate AI into that. And his role is to try to teach AI ethics. So how do you do that? Can somebody tell me? I mean, it's
Yeah,
so,
that's
yeah, I mean,
that's something again, yeah, we find it funny too. It's like we were trying to teach AI ethics. It always comes down to where you take this system, and if I'm talking about a facial recognition system, right? So we built this thing in our college. So we had our department inauguration. So we built this kind of thing where when the director of the college would come, it would recognize his face, and then it would greet that person. And when the key people, when the head of departments and that those people would come, it would recognize them and it would greet them by their name and designation, right? So I built that system. Now you could have the same system where it would recognize their face and launch a missile, right? It's not that different. The face recognition is already there. You could you could greet someone by recognizing their face, and you could also launch a missile at them. It's not that different. But when you talk about ethics, then it's a very complicated question because uh, it's also about how much ethics do humans have, right? If humans don't know ethics, then how they're going to teach it to the AI?
Yeah.
So first it comes down to how much ethics does that professor know? Does that professor know ethics in the first place? How is going to teach it to the AI?
good
So
point.
One
Yeah.
of the other things that came up, I was sitting at an AI meeting with it was North Carolina Defense Contractors Association, and one of the researchers was studying threat recognition, right? So it's this concept of what facial expressions define a threat. What is the predictive model for someone being assessed as the person that they should now take out? And it's a conversation that's going on. But my question is okay, mathematically, what is the percentage of error? What is the allowable deviation? So if someone's deemed to be a threat, um, what percentage of accuracy do you need to know that that person's a threat before before action is taken? So it's a deep and big conversation. And based on because there's more responses than shooting a missile at them. There is, you can shut off people's ability to purchase. You can shut off their ability to travel. So would in effect, would you actually create a threat by limiting this person's ability to live or to operate normally, which would then prove your predictive model to be 100%, right? You shut off a bit someone's ability to buy food, now they become a threat and a criminal because they don't have food. So there is deep ethical questions around that, and I think we should have that discussion.
Yeah.
yeah, that's right.
I think China is very advanced in the facial recognition. I think I heard this a story where there was a person crossing the road jaywalking, and they were recognized. They were picked up. The face was picked up by the AI, the cameras, whatever. And then the person was the face was put up on a big screen, actually saying, Debbie Spoutman, be ashamed of yourself. You are jaywalking, or something like that. Really, bringing it out in the open, like so the person could be actually ashamed in front of everyone. So that's that's happening in China.
Well,
And
that's the culture. Yeah. Think about the
is that
Yeah.
ethical? Where are we?
I think that's a god awful. I mean, from my perspective, I don't know if it's ethical, but I think it's a shaming tool. It's
Yeah.
it's a way to degrade people if that's what their society is promoting. I think that's a awful waste of resource and time. It's a shame that they would do that because, but that, as we said, that's their culture. That's how they live. But you
Yeah,
would
but
never see that anywhere else in the world.
Well,
At
that's how
least
they
in the Western
manipulate
states.
and influence.
Except within churches.
Right. Mm-hmm. You're right.
we're heading that way with CBDCs, central bank digital currencies, so they know exactly what you spent your money on and where your money comes from and everything else. And with the CBDCs, way it's set up, if you're buying product X, they'll say, no, he's not allowed to buy product X. And they can close your credit card, they can close your bank account, anything like that. It's the same thing. AI is as dangerous as, in my case, the way I think governments want them to be. That's the problem. I mean, there's so much upside to it that you have rotten people that destroy it.
Yeah, but it's all around. It didn't take
Yeah.
AI to get to do things. They did it on the internet and they figured out worked through transcripts. So to me, I'm thinking, you know, Europe might regulate this or some other country may regulate it, but it won't take too much for someone on the other side of the world to be able to access it and send it to someone else and bypass the whole system. So
Yeah.
that's the trick is, yeah, even if it isn't government funding or government regulating it, someone else is going to find a way to circumvent it and figure everything else out. So
Yeah.
there's always two ways to get it to do this, but no, I see your point.
Yeah.
Listen, we're coming to the end. We're coming to the end of the BEwell webinar. Thank you very much, Varshini. I mean, this topic, AI, is a continual development. So this is the second time we've had someone talking about AI. So I'm sure that in another month's time, we'll have someone else coming on, bringing us new insights into AI, because it's just ongoing. Okay, so just keep your ears open and eyes peeled. I'm sure we'll do this again. Next week's BEwell, we're going to be talking about the law of attraction. Okay, a little bit more down to earth. Like we've got AI over there, and we're back to law of attraction, and we've got a coach, Yanni. I can't say his surname. So I won't even try. Anyway, next Tuesday, the 20th, from 5 to 6 p.m. CET, Central European Time. If you can be there, please come along. Thank you again. Thank you, Om. Thank you, everyone, for coming here and participating. And hopefully you're taking something away.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Look after yourself.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much.
Take care. Thank you.
Cheers.
Bye, Stephen. Bye.
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 Okay. Bye-bye.